So if you joined us for the first video, you know that that was not what we intended to have as our first video for this channel. So the subject today is actually what was supposed to be the first video. This is Wooten's third law and why you should care about it. Don't forget, stick around for the end of the video for the bonus technical fact. Wooten's third law is probably not the most technically detailed paper you're ever going to read, but it is an excellent paper. And while it was written by what I would term as a gentleman engineer in the 1970s, and maybe has a little implied joke that's not as politically correct as most people would want, the fact of the matter is that what this gentleman was trying to impart, what he was getting at, the message that was coming across in that paper, is critically important for young engineers, and I suppose practicing engineers in general. Wooten's third law is that the acquisition of uncommon knowledge inhibits the application of common sense. Effectively, this is an argument that you need to know what's coming about in a structure, how it's behaving, and you have to be rational. If a computer gives you a silly answer, don't go with it. If you are worrying about the exact precise state of stress, super detailed, you're probably missing the big picture. Buildings don't collapse because somebody made some very high-end technical number crunching mistake. They collapse because somebody failed to add 2 and 2 and get 4. They added 2 and 2 and got 40. They multiplied 1 and 6 and got 61. They've made a mistake that should be able to be caught by second set of eyes. Detailing errors, failures to watch load paths, these are the things that cause structural collapses. If a well-engineered building, and by which I mean technically proficient engineers, suitably trained and experienced for the type of work that they're doing, look at a building and do a proper job of designing it, and you have that critical second set of eyes, nothing should go wrong. But we don't live in a perfect world. We actually have codes that are explicitly designed around the idea that 1 in 50,000 people will die in a structural collapse. That seems shocking, but anybody can build a pyramid. One of the things that we do as engineers is use efficiency. We create something with just the amount of material required to make it work. We deal with the client's expectations. We work to the serviceability limit states and the ultimate limit states. If these things don't sound familiar to you, don't worry, there are other videos coming. But ultimately, for a young intern or a practicing engineer, these should be routine elements of their day-to-day work. So you've watched a video and stuck around? Looks like it's time for the bonus technical fact. People don't realize that engineers don't just play with numbers. We have to actually use them as a tool. So one of the things that's most important is actually knowing your significant figures. The amount of precision that anything can give you in terms of calculators, computers, the number of digits after the decimal place doesn't matter. It's almost meaningless. You have to pick some level to which you're going to work. Now, it's the consistency that matters most. The law of large numbers actually dictates that things will average out, and that matters because if you're consistently rounding by whatever system you're using, up every time it's 5 and above, down every time it's 4 and below, you're going to be getting the average result. All of your errors are going to be a little high, a little low, and statistically it's going to be a 50-50 game, and you're going to come right down around the right answer. And 4 significant figures for engineers are considered sufficient. So it's not the magnitude of the question that matters. If we're dealing with massive numbers, we're just dealing with the 4 first digits of that number. 4 significant figures. Those are the figures which are significant to us getting the right answer. And it is a discipline that you must learn. Young engineers and many practicing engineers write down as many digits as they possibly can on the calculator. It's not just a waste of time, it's a source of error. If you aren't controlling your significant figures to a certain number of significant figures, 4 digits, never more. 4 digits, never more. That's engineering notation. Ultimately, you're going to drift into error in an uncontrolled manner. Whereas if you are consistent and you always deal with your 4 significant digits, 4 digits, never more, you're going to be working right around that average and your errors are going to wash out. The magnitude of your answers is secondary. It is the significant figures you work with, and that's what you need to be doing. Stay safe out there.